Alright guys, the finale is here. And first of all, welcome to Fitness Spot. How's everybody doing out there? And like it said, the finale is here. It is the final fight for my section 3. And I have a special guest that's gonna help me out. Bro, say your name.
Deadpoolzilla.
So I'm gonna have Deadpoolzilla here with me, as you saw in the preview. He's gonna help me out, returning the favor in a way, but I'd do it anyway if you ask me. It don't matter. This fight will be very interesting because we're gonna be putting kind of two average guys, no powers in a way, just all arsenal, and that's the Punisher, Frank Castle, versus Grifter, Cold Cash. So
best name ever.
Yeah. So it's gonna be Punisher versus Grifter. How do you feel about this fight?
Well, it's a very even match. When you look at it, both these guys have been trained in all forms of the military, all forms of firearm, any firearm they can make into a weapon, or hell, even their fists. They don't need guns sometimes. These guys can just use their own bare hands, and even a freaking toothpick is all they need. But on the other hand, we have these. They have their own little differences. So that those differences might be a changer.
Okay, so we're gonna start off with the Punisher, Frank Castle here. All right, everybody should know who Frank is. The Punisher. He punishes those who prey on the innocent. Who actually was created by Jerry Conway, and he was supposed to be a new villain for Spider-Man, but that turned around, huh? Now Frank is a Vietnam veteran, and that's pretty much where they say he was born. He was born in Vietnam, but he was baptized when his family was killed. And that set his goal of basically all-out hell on, you name it, mobsters, rapists, you name it. And his eyes, eye for an eye. It don't get no better than that. But Frank does come in contact with other superpowered heroes of the Marvel Universe, and he's trained in martial arts. He's got that military background. He's good with all kinds of firearms. Ain't that right, T?
Yeah. This is a guy who can stare the Hulk in the face and spit in his eye.
In terms of personality, T, how would you classify Frank?
Sometimes it's hard. I mean, one moment he's the most stable guy out there, and then in recent comics I've read, especially at the end of the Max comics, it felt like he was starting to slip there. But if we're looking at Frank Castle now, we got a very calm, cool, collected character right here. You know, this guy, he doesn't run away. He stays there till the job's done, basically.
Exactly. Frank has gone up against many superpowered heroes, and he's lived to tell a tale. I mean, there are not a lot of the Marvel heroes that I wouldn't say don't respect him, but they just can't go with his logic. And, Daredevil's had his problems with him, Cap, Spider-Man, but he's also faced some controversy with certain characters that actually kind of agree with him. Wolverine is a prime example. They seem to get along pretty well. But in terms of battling style between Frank, what's the most key advantage that you think Frank has over Grifter?
The one thing I might say over Grifter is that Cole gets very cocky. He'll start to gloat, he'll start to brag, and lose his focus, because he really does think he's the shit. And Frank's is just gonna stay focused. Like, this guy's gonna be shooting his mouth while I'm gonna be shooting his mouth off.
Yeah, that's Frank. He doesn't talk a lot. He lets his actions talk for him, and his actions leave, let's put it like this, a body bag, a bloodbath, pretty much. And Frank he doesn't have such a big rogues gallery. I mean, pretty much everybody knows mostly Jigsaw, but Frank is definitely one of those Marvel anti-heroes. He's probably one of the greatest anti-hero there is to ever been created. But that's Frank Castle for you. And let's move on. We're going to move on to his combatant. He's from the Wildstorm / DC universe. And it brings Cole Cash, a.k.a. Grifter. I know that mask is cool and everything like that. His name is cool. So T, started off. What's the coolest thing about Grifter?
Yeah. I'm sorry, was the ball in my court now?
Yep, ball's in your court.
Cole's a lot like the Punisher, but in some ways not. I mean, he has the same military training. He was part of a group before he joined the Wildcats. He was part of a group called Team 7. They were basically like they were kind of, I wouldn't say X-Force, more like Weapon X of the Image universe. For those who don't know, Grifter was part of the Image universe before he moved into the Wildstorm universe. And from Team 7, he moved on from Wildcats, and from there he's fought many different opponents. For the most part, he's been fighting these race of aliens known as the Daemonites. And he's really good at what he does, at killing these Daemonites. If you want to, Daemonites, for the most part, are kind of like squirrels on crack, basically.
Exactly. For all those that also don't know, Grifter has an undeveloped telekinetic power, actually, and that came from his experiments with Team 7, actually. But it's not really active. It is like it comes on and off, but he doesn't know how to control it, actually. But like Ty said, yeah, he's part of the Wildcats. He's been with them ever since now. He and Zealot seem to get along really well. They usually team up. Grifter usually carries his two sidearms. But mostly when he's going full out, yeah, he'll have like long range rifles and things like that. But mostly what you see with him is his two sidearms. But Grifter is pretty much like Frank, like T said, military background, martial arts training, things like that. But there's a difference between their personality. Like Cole, like T said, Cole is a trash talker. He's like, I would kind of call him the Johnny Cage of the Wildstorm universe. He likes to talk shit, and that, in a way, that kind of gets his opponents angry at them, so they'll make a mistake. But on the other hand, sometimes that's his greatest weakness, because sometimes that could be he'll get beat because of that. And
yeah. That's not good. We all know that's not good. His trash talk ain't going to affect Frank in any way.
Exactly. But like I said, with Frank usually carries about a couple of weapons on him. But from the most part, like I said, Grifter mostly carries his two sidearms, But I believe there's automatic. They're not semi-automatic. But Frank will carry knives and mini explosives and his sidearms as well, but Grifter is more of like the lightweight guy. I mean, the funniest thing about this is both of these characters have faced off against Batman, and in some way, Frank held his own against Bruce, while Grifter kind of didn't. Grifter got his guns taken away from by Bruce, and he was just like, "Okay, man, it's cool. I'm done." But Grifter is still a badass, no question about it. I can't deny that, but he's just more of the comedic badass, not the really quiet, serious badass.
Yeah, I guess also we should mention that Grifter, for those who never read the Wildcats X-Men crossovers, for a short time Grifter worked for Nick Fury.
Yeah. So, in terms of the battle, guys, I picture this as always, like I like to do, is pretty much open like area, and I would say a misunderstanding as always, as most of these things are, but just a pretty much all out gunfight between each other. Is that the same way how you would picture it, T?
More or less, yeah.
These two will just try to have each other trying to eat lead, no matter what, until it might have to come to they're gonna run out of ammunition, and then that's where their military training is gonna come in, and then it'll be pretty much, in my opinion, a hand-to-hand combat fight. And as always, like I like to say, guys, it's gonna come down to who's gonna make the first mistake. Will it be Frank or will it be Cole? In your opinion, T, who do you think will make the first mistake?
I'm going to say Grifter. Now, why? Because, like we were talking about, his mouth is going to be his worst downfall, and we can't really say his telekinesis can save it, because, like you said, it doesn't work for him. It doesn't command it. It turns off on and off when it wants to.
Okay. But, as always, guys, I leave it up to you to decide on who you feel is the better marksman, the better combatant in this fight. And who do you guys see winning this? Punisher? Or Grifter? It's up to you guys. But first and foremost, I would like to thank Tyler Deadpoolzilla for coming on and doing this with me. So thanks again for doing it.
No problem. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. Thank you for helping me once again with Section 3.
No problem. And that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed Section 3, my Section 3. Section 4 is ready to go. If you haven't seen the lineup, it is up. Check it out. And I hope you enjoyed this. And I can't wait to hear your comments on this. And as you can see, it says, as always, you guys take care. And this is Mount Vernon Kid and his good friend
Deadpoolzilla.
And you guys take it easy.